Beloved lights, you are receiving my message about a prediction concerning 2025 and 2026 belatedly but still in time. This prediction can, however, expand. Nothing remains stagnant, everything is in constant motion. Even if you feel stagnant or resigned in your situation, much is happening and changing in the background. Everything vibrates, everything pulsates, and everything moves. That's our key word, beloved lights. Since everything is constantly moving, predictions can only be partially accurate, and certain events can only be narrowed down. Ultimately, though, much depends on your free will. Some things will happen with precision and certainty because they must for karmic reasons. Other events can be prevented or eased through your positive intervention. Some events are predetermined because they are anchored and agreed upon in soul contracts. However, I tell you that predictions can be guided to a certain extent if you know exactly where your journey is taking you. I will tell you what the other dimensions perceive about Earth, and then you can explore where you can help or how you envision the new Earth. We begin today's message with facts that I present directly and openly from the angelic realm. Then I will reveal approaches you can consider further if you wish. There are two polarities on Earth. One represents the dark forces and the other represents the light. Both sides leave their mark and protect their positions as best as they can. Over the course of centuries and thousands of years, you have left traces that may have passed, yet they remain as present as ever because they have not been resolved. To better understand this, I recommend listening to the conversation with the goddesses of fate on this channel. This will also help you understand the thread of fate. The conversation with the Norns, the goddesses of fate, will be uploaded here when it is good and right. Now, back to our main topic. What will happen to you in 2025, 2026 and beyond? Positive traces will benefit you, while negative ones may be resolved. How could you possibly tread new paths that are still poisoned? Divine creations cannot be built on shaky foundations of lies. That should be obvious. All traces of violence and villainy must be resolved, as they are as present as beautiful events. Time is running out, as you have entered a year of closure. The vibration of number 9 accompanies you this year, vehemently showing you what needs to be resolved. We have come to a point where the pressure is mounting. The earth pressure is increasing because you are experiencing constant frequency increases, because dark embedded threads and structures are creating counter-pressure by refusing to leave, and because they are being forced out of the earth. Light pushes all structures that should have long since passed away from the underground realms. The pressure keeps rising. Imagine a pressure cooker on your stovetop. Using this example, you can picture the significance of what's happening beneath the earth layers. Yes, my dears, the earth could tremble if the pressure increases too much. What does this mean for you personally? What can you do? It's advisable to relieve the pressure with harmonic waves. You need to stabilize the pressure with gentle counter pressure. As Bella Isis repeatedly emphasizes in her vivid adventures, the idea of cleansing timelines should also be mentioned, as the earth is still crisscrossed with traces of blood. These timelines are becoming more noticeable as they are pushed forward by the constantly increasing vibration of the earth. Since cleansing timelines is a task reserved for the most experienced, courageous, and proven lightworkers, caution is advised, as it requires powerful light work. Bella Isis has offered projects in this regard, which can be found on her channel and in her Lightworkers Manual. If something refuses to go away, pressure is needed. If something needs to be dissolved, pressure is needed. Do you understand my message, dear people? Much of what you used to believe no longer fits with your new way of thinking or the earth constantly increasing frequency. So I tell you that there is probably a lot ahead of you that will be karmically cleansed because injustice must be resolved harmoniously. Everything will ultimately return to divine justice as it should. Nevertheless, you light workers can ease the severity of certain situations through prayer, chants, rituals, affirmations, meditation, energy work, healing dances, and other positive practices. Through your positive assistance, it is possible that certain things will be softened and will not occur with full force. You always have the free will to change things. I am not referring to things that you cannot influence. However, you have the opportunity during your ascension process to embrace the positive power of your inner divinity and demonstrate your capabilities. You share your divine gifts for the benefit of all, which is approved. This is the right path. Everything you offer in peace and love will bear glorious fruit for you and everyone else. Ultimately, everything comes from you. I include my remarks for today, having presented you with many direct hints. What you do with them now is entirely up to you, divine lights. I greet you with angelic light and bring you a personal message to present new ways of thinking and directions you have not yet considered. I will personally be present with each light worker. If you are not yet familiar with our protege's messages, I should mention that she rarely conveys news directly. More often they contain embedded experiences. That is why I am now standing in front of you, lovingly placing my hand on your shoulder. I want to greet you with courage, dear lights. That is what you need. You are all brave souls on the path to new worlds that are not actually new, but rather being restored to their original healthy state. You are returning to paradise bit by bit, my dear ones. Everything is allowed to transform and be shaped. It is all happening for the highest good of all. You can now feel my presence more strongly and perceive physical touches. Take your time and enter into silence if you wish. Look into your innermost being while I speak to you in heavenly tones. Allow me to work for you if you wish. When the last note has faded, I will leave. But know that I am always only a thought away. Archangel Michael.